WrestleCircus is this Saturday night down at 800 Congress, downtown Austin. And, of course, it is billed the Cody Rhodes Summer Circus Show. So who better to talk about Saturday night than the man himself, the Ring of Honor World Champion, Cody Rhodes. Before we get to all that and everything that's happened with Ring of Honor, there's a burning question that, well, at least I need to know. And it's probably the most important thing I've asked you the last couple times we've talked on the phone. What is on the Netflix watch list for you and Brandy?
Oh, wow. It's the only two things we're watching on Netflix are that Ozark show. You know about Ozark?
I've heard of it, yes.
Yes, that, and I'm doing a little revisit, a little retrospective on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Really?
Yeah, that's where we're at.
I mean, okay, so let me ask you, because Avery Brooks was so good in that series.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen him since then.
We don't need to, man. He's Cisco.
That's
you know
right.
What I'm saying?
Well, I guess you're right. Just like Patrick Stewart's always going to be Jean-Luc Picard, right?
I gotta know, man. Like, is that guy? Was he so good, or is that just such a weird guy that it translated into some of the most? He has a very strange everything. Some of the looks, some of the just a different. I don't know if you can teach what he's doing, man.
No.
But Cisco's the deal.
I think it was a combination of both. I think that was. Yeah. It's one of those things you can't imagine anybody else in that role.
Yeah. Oh no, hell no.
I mean, it's kind of like the old story about Richard Pryor was supposed to be the sheriff in Blazing Saddles, but then Cleavon Little got the part, and now you can't imagine him not being in that part.
So, right. Yeah.
So let's talk about this for a second. You won the ROH World title on June 24th. So we're talking barely over a month ago. Mm-hmm. Has it sunk in fully that you hold what is considered to be one of the, if not the most prestigious world championship in wrestling?
I think no. I think it hasn't. I think kind of every passing day there's something new. And they were all things I expected. Like, I'm home today, but even today being home, I, got picked up before the sun came up this morning and went and did some local morning news and all the way through to the afternoon show, studio to studio. And that type of like treatment and responsibility, that's kind of like, for a wrestler, that's the stuff you dream of, especially if you really dig it. And so little things like that each day, little things like my sister, she's the she's the daughter of Dusty Rhodes, so she's not gonna, sweat much. But when she comes over with her kids and they take pictures with the title, unbeknownst to me, and stuff like that, there's little things, that make it all the more real for me.
Wow. I mean, and I can only imagine, the little kids running around, trying to hit each other with a belt or something. I can only imagine.
That thing's so ill-designed, too. It must weigh 200 pounds, it feels like. There's like 2 plates on it. Yeah.
It is a very well-built belt. I will say that. It is incredible. Let me ask you this. So you've, like I said, and this is something that has been made a point of. So you are now one half of the second ever father-son duo to hold an internationally recognized world championship, and the first one being the Funks, and now you and your father. And I saw a picture that you posted, and I know this enters your mind every now and again when you look at that belt about when your father was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and I know you posted a picture of the Ring of Honor belt with, I think it was either one of his boots or something like that.
Oh, it's his little figure.
Right, his figure. I mean, how much does that enter into your mind that you are now at a status that your father was at? This is something you and I talked about the first time we talked was, one of these days getting a world championship just like your dad, and now you're there. Has that kind of just, do you kind of step back and just stand in awe of that?
Hopefully I will, kind of when the dust settles. And I'm not saying when I lose the dang thing, but I think time will give me more of that chance to look back on it. Right now, the focus is kind of about what type of champion I'm going to be, how I'll be remembered as champion. When my dad defeated Harley Race to win the first, his first NWA World Championship, he doesn't remember that run that fondly. He remembers the victory being very sweet, but the run ended kind of abruptly with Ric Flair, and it wasn't until 5-6 years later, when he's back in the fray and it meant all the more to him. I'm real cautious of avoiding that. This was a run I waited for and worked for and went out and grabbed, so I'm trying to make the most of it. And and for lack of a better statement, the most of it means putting as many people and putting as many eyes on Ring of Honor's product, and kind of everywhere that title goes, which currently is everywhere with me, including WrestleCircus in Austin, Texas.
Right. And before we get to WrestleCircus, I want to hit on something. You've got the War of the Worlds UK tour coming up in the middle of August. 3 dates over in London and Edinburgh and what was the other city? Liverpool. Correct. And so you're heavily involved all 3 of those dates. There's going to, I believe the London show is a internet pay-per-view, and you've got a couple of multiple man tag matches with your Bullet Club brethren. Plus you have a title defense then against Sonata. Is that part of what you mean by putting more eyes on the Ring of Honor World Title to continue to make it a true World Championship?
Yeah, you've got it. That's the goal. Is that make it whole, make it true. If that means defending the ROH World Title in London against Sonata, and then being carrying it on into Liverpool against LIJ and that 10-man tag with the Bullet Club flanking me. It's about taking it everywhere with me. That's the beauty of not having signed a contract. That's when I say that, sometimes people think it's a slight towards Ring of Honor. It's not. I just kind of illuminate on it and highlight it because it gives me the ability to go wherever I want, and it makes Ring of Honor sweat a little bit when you talk about all these places and the potential of the Ring of Honor World Championship being on someone who doesn't work for Ring of Honor, or being on someone who works for New Japan Pro Wrestling like Sonata, who New Japan Pro Wrestling has huge plans for Sonata. And no, it's Jack Briscoe getting on that plane, man. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture, but it's one of these pictures that only for someone who's seen it, it defines to me what a wrestler is, man. Here he is, kind of windswept, handsome, legit shooter, cowboy out there getting on a plane, heading to the next town, heading to the next city. And not just, hey, to see if I can get through it all. Every delivery had to be A+. You had to be TV ready, essentially, every outing. And that's the goal here. That's, like I said, when that's all that's settled, maybe I will look back and hopefully hold it in the same esteem Dusty held his world title reigns in.
And I have seen that picture. It's such an iconic picture, and you're right.
Yeah.
It's kind of the true microcosm of being a world champion. We're talking with Cody Rhodes, the current Ring of Honor world champion. So let's talk this coming Saturday. Let's talk WrestleCircus. As you mentioned, the Ring of Honor board of directors hasn't necessarily endorsed this, but they are watching. But you are set to be here in Austin. Let me ask you this before I ask you about the match itself. To come to Austin, which, and I will, selfishly say there is probably no city more synonymous with the name Rhodes than Austin, Texas. So you are coming to Austin, Texas as a world champion. What does that mean to you?
I had, you could ask Al, the promoter of WrestleCircus. We had a lot of back and forth almost like a year ago. I kind of had avoided Austin because it's difficult to be in Austin. My dad's house is still there, still standing. And it's just difficult. That was where he grew up as a boy into a man, and kind of it's almost before his wrestling heydays. Austin is the true home for our family. I mean, my sister still lives there. So it's difficult, but now it's not difficult really as much as it's kind of a happy return. And I think, no matter what you believe in, wrestling, the energy is so, off the charts in these places. And I hope it to be that way in Austin. That makes me think there's much more to this than just us talking here on the phone and just, a ring and two guys or two women. There's something else in the air, and maybe it's Dusty for me. And I think he'd be happy to be watching a show in Austin, Texas, a show like WrestleCircus that features an absolute kind of best of the best out there. Guys who are, heading to WWE, guys who are getting their start and burning up the charts, and just it's a real groovy place.
I gotta imagine that Dusty will probably have a ringside seat wherever, up in heaven, and will be watching that with a smile and a laugh and enjoying it all just like the rest of us. So let's talk about the match. You and Scorpio Sky. Let me ask you this: have you ever faced Scorpio Sky before?
No, I have never faced Scorpio Sky. I've never. Never. I think I've been in a room with him a few times before, but never faced Scorpio Sky. And I, bit of breaking news. The reason I selected Scorpio Sky, if WrestleCircus is happy with that match, and seems like the fans are, the show sold out, you can thank Joey Ryan, because Joey Ryan was the one who told me, you want to get in the ring with Scorpio Sky, trust me. And I don't know why, but I trust Joey Ryan, and here we are.
Well, that sounds fantastic. So now there's an added stipulation now. The news broke that your wife, Brandy, your lovely wife, Brandy, will be accompanying you to Austin, to WrestleCircus, and she's actually going to have a match with Scorpio Sky's director, Kevin Condren. And the stipulation is, if Kevin Condren can find a way to defeat Brandy in a match, then your match with Scorpio Sky will be for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I mean, and I know you've got all the confidence in the world in Brandy, but again, this is an intergender match, and I've seen Kevin wrestle a few times. So, does that ever enter into your mind about, for lack of a better term, putting Brandy in that direction?
I think kind of as a family, we enjoy pressure. We enjoy going up to bat in the ninth. I think if I correct me, she might correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. This is her idea. It's also an opportunity for Austin, Texas, to see Brandy in maybe a different light than they're used to seeing her. Brandy's pretty tough on me, if that makes any sense. Brandy is not a stand behind you. She'll stand right next to you, and she's really shaped the man that I've become. I can't say enough nice things about my wife, and not just because she's my wife, just because she's really very, very driven, and I'm curious to see. Now, it's not like we don't have a plan. If we come up with a strategy like that, they gotta have some sort of plan here, and we'll see how it all shapes up.
We will, and I've watched Brandy before in the ring, and you're right. She's got that fire in her that that sometimes will carry her more than anything else. And if you get crossways with her, God help you. So that'll be this Saturday, August 5th, 800 Congress, down at 8th and Congress. By the way, it's the last WrestleCircus show in that location. They'll be moving to a new location. The VIP meet and greet's at 4 p.m. Doors will open at 5:15. Bell time 6 o'clock. It is sold out, so you can stream it live on Twitch, twitch.tv/WrestleCircus. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can see it for free. Now, before we let you go, Cody, there's a couple things you're doing along with this, and you're helping out a great charity in Austin Pets Alive, which is a phenomenal charity, helping those furry friends of ours, stay safe and find homes and everything. I know one of them is on Twitch, you're able to give tips, and you said you're going to donate those tips to Austin Pets Alive. You're also auctioning the boots in which you won the world title, and just talk about how that all came about.
Well, I think I had kind of an adverse reaction to hearing that wrestlers were being tipped, and I don't want to go too far into that because I don't want to knock anybody's way of life. But sometimes, to me, if the fans already bought a ticket, then that's just good enough for me, for sure. So this idea of tips was discussed, and I thought, well, if I ever go to WrestleCircus, this is before it had come about the booking. If it happens, I want to just take all my tips and encourage people. Go ahead, do it. Tip, 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 tip. But they'll go somewhere that matters. And I think I just did a quick little social media poll on what charities, and like 8 out of 10 people said Austin Pets Alive, which if you follow my Twitter, then my family is comprised of three of my family's 3 little doggies and Brandy. So it fit perfectly, and we've come into some great contacts there. Hannah at Austin Pets Alive is gonna help rep things, and I mean, right after that match, win, lose, or draw, no matter what, those boots are coming off, and we're gonna auction them right there in the ring. And every bit of the tips goes to Austin Pets Alive to help with wayward cats, wayward dogs, pups, for our furry friends, and every bit from those boots. And I actually have gotten a confirmation that Al and Lexi, who run WrestleCircus, are going to match those tips. So we have the opportunity not only to pretty much crash the Twitch stream from interest, we've got the opportunity to really help. And that is what wrestling's supposed to do. Well, it helps you get through a rough day or a rough time. It can help in bigger ways. Take a look at what Sami Zayn is doing. I mean, it can help, and this was a charity that Austin picked, so Austin gets the boots.
That's a great cause, and Cody, I've always enjoyed talking to you, but that just makes me like you a little more. So I appreciate that because I love dogs. I love dogs. By the way, what are your 3 dogs? What are their names? There's
Colby, Jack, and Monterey Jack, the Cheese Boys.
Okay,
and then we have a Siberian Husky named Pharaoh, who didn't get a cheese name because he's just too classy looking.
I was going to say, I used to own a Siberian Husky. Those things are absolutely magnificent dogs.
He is magnificent, but he's a hell of a bill when it comes to the cleaning and the vacuuming because of all of his hair.
Yes. When they shed, you could like carpet half of Austin with the fur that come off. I understand. Cody Rhodes, it is so good to talk to you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Hopefully, maybe afterwards we get a chance, maybe, buy you breakfast or something, but all the best to you. Safe travels. I know you're traveling all over the place before then, but all the best to you. All the best to Brandy and the dogs, and we will see you Saturday at WrestleCircus.
See you Saturday. Thank you very much.